Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, hello, check. One, check.
Good morning, everyone. The chief guest of today's function has left from the Green Shipping Conclave. He'll be joining us shortly. So I request you all to be seated and please keep your mobile phones on silent mode or please switch them off. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our chief guest has arrived at the campus. He will be joining us shortly. You're requested to please put your mobile phones on mute. The gentlemen who are standing, जो पीछे खड़े हैं, please आप या तो साइड पे आ जाइए या बैठ जाइए. And everybody is requested to please take their seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our chief guest, His Excellency Mr. Arsenio Domínguez, Secretary General, International Maritime Organization. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. May I request DG Shipping, Mr. Shyam Jagannathan, CMD SCI, Captain B.K. Dyaki, Director BNT, Shipping Corporation of India, Mr. Atul Ubale, and Vice-Chancellor, India Maritime, Dr. Malini Shankar, to please escort our respected chief guest to the dais. Respected Chief Guest, Secretary General, International Maritime Organization, His Excellency Mr. Arsenio Domínguez, DG Shipping, Mr. Shyam Jagannathan, Vice-Chancellor, Indian Maritime University, Dr. Malini Shankar, the Chairman and Managing Director of SCI and SCI Lal, Captain B.K. Tyagi, Director, Bulk Carriers and Tankers, Shipping Corporation of India, Mr. Atul Ubale, distinguished dignitaries, members of the Indian Navy, Maritime Fraternity, press, cadets, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and good morning to all of you. As you walk into this auditorium, there is a board which states that this auditorium is dedicated to Dr. C.P. Srivastava, founder, managing director of the Shipping Corporation of India Limited, who was the longest serving Secretary General of IMO. Today, we are privileged to have His Excellency Mr. Arsenio Domínguez, the 10th Secretary General, International Maritime Organization, as our chief guest. The great Saint Swami Chinmayananda has said, where there is light, darkness cannot be. Where knowledge has come, ignorance must quit. Let us bow to knowledge, which is the greatest wealth in our lives, by lighting the traditional lamp. May I request the dignitaries on the dais to please light the lamp. Cadets, please find a place to sit. There are some seats vacant here. You can join here.
Ya kundendu tushar har dhawala ya shubhra vastravrita ya veena Dandamandita-kara Ya Shweta Padmasana Ya Brahmachuta Shankara Prabhutibhi Devai Sada Vandita Samam Patu Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesha Jadyapaha Nishesha Jadyapaha Nishesha Jadyapaha.
Thank you, Pramod, Preeti, Archana, and Priyanka, for invoking the blessings of the Goddess of Knowledge. And we would like to welcome our guests. In India, we say Atithi Devo Bhava. That is, guest is akin to God. So we'd like to welcome our guest today. So may I request CMD SCI, Captain B.K. Tyagi, to please present a plant to our chief guest. May I request Director Technical and Offshore Services, Mr. Vikram Dingle, to please present a plant to DG Shipping, Mr. Shyam Jagannathan. May I request Director Liner and Passenger Services, Rear Admiral Jaswinder Singh, to please present a bouquet to Vice-Chancellor, Indian Maritime University, Dr. Malini Shankar. I request Principal MTI, Captain P.K. Sahu, to please present a bouquet to our host today. CMD SCI, Captain Tyagi, and Mr. Atul Ubali, Director BNT. Thank you very much. Please be seated. I would like to invite Captain B.K. Tyagi, Chairman and Managing Director of SCI and SCI Lal, to welcome the August gathering. Tyagi Sahab.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency Arsenio Domínguez, Secretary General of IMO, Director General of Shipping, VC Madam Malini, my colleague directors, distinguished guests, young cadets present here physically and connected virtually. This event is currently streamed live throughout the world. Further, there are various ships connected virtually and in the live mode today. You can see, sir, on the screen in front of you, there are vessels connecting from various parts of the world. One vessel is in Pacific Ocean, one vessel is in Bay of Bengal, one is in Atlantic, couple of them are in Persian Gulf. So it's a really privilege for all of us, all maritime stakeholders, all seafarers. Sir, today you are present with us. Thank you very much for your time. It's indeed pleasure for all of us, especially for entire maritime industry, and more specific to Maritime Training Institute of India, that is the Shipping Corporation and SCI LAL. It's my profound honor and privilege to welcome His Excellency and all other distinguished guests. It is a momentous occasion for us. Maximum participation is being done for this event so that we all can take some guidance from IMO Secretary General. Sir, your last year theme was navigating the future's safety first. India as a maritime country, we all stakeholders, we actively participated, and that has really added value to the entire maritime system. This year, your theme, our ocean, our obligations, our opportunity, again, very, very inspiring, and the entire system, and especially the young cadets are working towards this, sir. Little brief about this great training institute, sir. What you're seeing is this is just one of the sample in this country, sir. Entire government of India, Director General of Shipping, everybody is committed to take this maritime training to a center of excellence, and every institute in this country is working towards this, and so this institute also. This institute was started in 1988, 45 acres of land within the heart of Mumbai, and the initial part, sir, you already walked through. And there are much more to go, sir. After this session, we will be taking you for the campus tour. This institute, 2017, sir, we started solar panel system here, and nearly 70% of the electricity energy consumption is supplied by that. Today, we have got this green shipping and many conclaves being done, but this institute, in terms of sustainability, we took action long back, sir, and things are giving the fruits today. This institute has been one of the leading training ground for seafarers, especially in India. Cadets get trained in terms of navigation and engineering, both branches, and we have got for the coastal voyage also, sir. And these officers who get trained from here, then they serve entire world maritime industry. In fact, there are officers who are present here. They are serving many other big shipping companies. And we as a MGI, we are proud of this. India is growing, good market for entire world, and so the shipping also. Our government of India, especially our Ministry of Shipping, they are very focused for the maritime field. You must have heard, sir, in the news also, this time there is a lot about the shipping, sir. Ship construction in India and increasing Indian commercial fleet. These are the two key areas, and various policy measures are already announced by Government of India, and they'll be put it in place. Government of India delegation visited South Korea and Japan exactly to achieve these basic targets. And there is a good response from various countries to set up their shipyard in country, and there is a huge potential for this, sir. In the end, I would like to say once again, thank you, sir. You have given us precious time, and this entire young lot, entire maritime industry, who are physically here and who are connected virtually, sir. We are waiting to hear from you and take some guidance from you, sir. Once again, thank you very much and welcome to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And as Captain Tyagi has said, that this institute is transforming itself into a center of excellence. And we would like to showcase India's maritime training system. Before I invite the Vice-Chancellor of Indian Maritime University to make a presentation on the same, we would like to play a video on the Indian Maritime University. Can we have the video, please? That was the Indian Maritime University with its various campuses. I now invite Dr. Malini Shankar, Vice-Chancellor, Indian Maritime University, to make a presentation on the maritime training system in India.
For moving the slides. Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. His Excellency Mr. Domínguez, Secretary General, International Maritime Organization, Captain Tyagi, CMD of the Shipping Corporation of India, Mr. Shyam Jagannathan, the Director General of Shipping, all the officers, the faculty of the SCI, MTI, the directors of the IMO Mumbai and Navi Mumbai campus, and officers of the Director General Shipping, and most important, the cadets and students who are assembled here. It's indeed a privilege to be here in the august presence of the Secretary General, who is the Mai Bap, as we call it. In Hindi, it means he's the father and the mother of shipping. That's what is Mai Bap. Yeah. So I would like to just take a few minutes to present the Indian Maritime University to the respected Secretary General. The genesis of this university goes back to 2008, when it was recognized that the people who have entered shipping would be better endowed with a degree which prepares them for jobs outside of shipping, should they wish to step off the ships and enter the onshore market. This university was established, as we said, at 2008 under a special act called the Indian Maritime University Act, within the aegis of the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, and not under the Ministry of Education like most universities are. The headquarters is in Chennai, and there are 6 campuses, and I think all the 6 campuses were there in the small short video that was displayed. 3 on the east coast, Kolkata, Visakhapatnam, and Chennai, and 3 on the west coast, which is Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, and Cochin. The oldest and the biggest is the Kolkata campus, which dates back to the British days, and the youngest and the smallest is actually the Cochin campus. We also are what we call an affiliating university, which means there are institutions who choose to get affiliated with the university, do so, and at present we have 17 affiliated institutions spread across the country. So they are colleges who are affiliated to the university, and the university is responsible for conducting the common entrance test, as well as the examinations, evaluations, and the degrees are conferred by the university. But they are independent in their day-to-day operations. So we have 3 research programs, 6 graduate programs, and 8 undergraduate programs, divided into technical and non-technical. The technical fields are, of course, marine engineering and nautical science, in which we have a BSc, BTech, or the diploma in nautical science. And the non-technical fields are allied to shipping, which are port and ship management. And we also have the international transport, e-commerce, etc. That's a BBA and MBA program. In addition, on the technical side, we have one program which is not aligned with STCW, and that is the Bachelor's of Technology in Naval Architecture and Shipbuilding, and Naval Architecture and Ocean Engineering. These are exclusively conducted in the Visakhapatnam campus, which has also become the hub of research activities for the university. A total of about 3,500 students, cadets and management students, are enrolled in the 6 campuses, and in addition, another 3,700 in the 17 affiliated institutions. So we cater to a student population of about 7,700 plus. What is our vision? Evidently, to be a leading global institution for maritime education and research, and increasingly to collaborate with industry and institutions, because it is an applied field and it has to be relevant to the industry. Our mission is to provide cutting-edge, skilled and employable manpower to the maritime and allied sectors. This is in consonance with the Government of India's plan to enhance the percentage of Indian ship seafarers in the global market. It's moved up from about 7% to 12%, but the aspiration is to go to 20% by the end of this decade. The mission is also to be a prime innovation hub for the sector, insofar as it was only a training institute, and there were six or seven training institutions which were subsumed into the university. It was responsible only for training, but once we become a university, we realized that we have to be in the front end of research, and we should aim and aspire to be not prize takers, but prize makers, so lead in research. And a major mission is to be the think tank for the government and the industry in India. So anybody who says, I want to do a study, I want to do have a consultant, I think they should reach out to the university. That's a mission. Just a brief word on the partnerships that we have. A few international partnerships, including Erasmus UPT of Netherlands, Batangas University of the Philippines, and Eastern University, Sri Lanka, the Trincomalee campus. Also, Admiral Ushakov State Maritime University in Novorossiysk in Russia, International Ocean Institute in Malta, and Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Maritime University in Bangladesh. St. Petersburg State Marine Technical University, Russia, University of Gibraltar in the United Kingdom, and the Ministry of Blue Economy, Marine Resources, Fisheries and Shipping in the government of Mauritius are also our partners in the mission. We are members of the International Association of Ports and Harbors, the International Association of Maritime Universities, and the EU-Arctic. We have some research projects. I will just mention three of the research projects which are very relevant and path-breaking, which is bio-based vegetable oil lubricants for marine applications, mathematical model for maneuverability predictions, underwater radiated noise from port-related activities and its mitigation measures. So this is just an example, a taste of what we are doing at present. And we have started having externally funded research projects. So initially our faculty does research, but then there are externally funded research projects, both from government institutions like the Defense Research Organization, the Indian Navy, but we have also got one research project granted to one of the faculty by the International Association of Maritime Universities. So we are making some inroads. It's still young days, but we're making inroads in research. Just salient initiatives that I'd like to touch upon. Education using modern technology. That is the latest equipment that simulators, for example, as well as computer-based education, even in communication. So we try to be the latest hands-on training in engines, etc. We have established a Center for Policy Research in Maritime. So this is the one I mentioned. It is in line with the mission to say that we should be the resource center, the go-to place for any study, any concept paper, any research paper, which may not be technical, but it is necessary for the industry or for associations. So we have established the Center for Policy Research, and we have undertaken quite a few activities. And we propose to do the next few activities are actually under the International Seabed Authority, Deep Sea Mission, and so it is in line with the year slogan of IMO with a focus on oceans. We are in the process of establishing centers of excellence, and I named three of them. Maritime training has always been there, but we are trying to strengthen it by establishing a center of excellence. There's a Center of Excellence in Fuels and Lubes that is proposed in Kolkata campus. In fact, we have one of our erstwhile institutions, the training institutions, the people who graduated from there and have done and gone into the seas. Some of them are some of the best professionals spread out in Hong Kong, Singapore, and London. One of the alumnus has actually given us a grant of $1 million to establish a specialized Center of Excellence in Kolkata. So we are getting there. Apart from that, there was a ship design and research center in Visakhapatnam many years ago, which faded and got absorbed into the university system. We are trying to re-establish that as a ship design center. So ship design, many of the graduates of our naval architecture programs actually are employed across the world, Korea, and Netherlands and Norway. And I think we will be doing well to get this center going. Not only for the seagoing ships, we also need a lot of it for the inland waters and coastal ships, because their specifications are quite different from the seagoing ships. We are also in the process of establishing a maritime incubation center and research for innovation with the active assistance of the Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Waterways. So we will have this going hopefully within the next 4 to 6 months. We are now represented, again, with the active support and encouragement of the ministry. IMU, the Indian Maritime University, is represented in the IMO committee meetings with a view to understanding what the IMO is and how much we can contribute. So this is the Industry Connect as well as Academia Industry Connect. Our gender diversity, we are very proud to share that there has been almost 1,000% increase in female students on the 6 campuses in the last 10 years. If you look at the graph on the right corner, right top corner, we had 12 students, 12 girls in 2014, and we have 187 now. And we hope that keeps growing. Very interestingly, Secretary General, when I interact with the students, there's been a sea change, in my opinion, in the last 10 years. As Director General Shipping, I used to have students coming and telling me that, is it possible to get a placement on board ship for the training? Because the institute and the ship owners and ship managers tell that, you're a lady and you really don't need it. You can go without it. These girls come with a passion, much more passion possibly than the men, because they've had to fight against the social norms. They've had to fight against family pressures to say, how will you go on board ships and stay there for 6 months at a time? But they are fighters, and they have, Radhika Menon is an example, is a classic example. She comes out of the Shipping Corporation of India, and there are several among them. I'm sorry, I don't have the time to take all their names. But they have been role models in getting the girls into shipping. And the last interaction I had a couple of months ago in Kolkata and Chennai, it was very heartening to see when I asked the girls, did you have to fight with your parents, with your family? Did you have people in your family who were in shipping? Many of them said, no, we just decided we wanted to do something different. And interestingly, they all told me it was their mothers who encouraged them. So it's a reflective of a change in society and very encouraging. And we hope this will grow, and India will be able to take the lead in contributing to the diversity. We also have, several of the cadets are here. We have what is called the IMU Global Maritime Expert Network. This is a program we've undertaken since last 2 years in the IMU, by which we invite an expert from the industry, academia, or otherwise, to come and spend 1 week, 5 working days in one of our campuses to give lectures, to sit in lectures, to interact with the cadets, and to interact with the faculty. And we do, when I say we invite, we pay for getting them there and hosting them. We host them. So we look forward to more such people coming. The first one was Gillian Carson, who was the ex-president of the Nautical Institute. And then we had last year Professor Vucinic from Europe. He was a naval architect he was a Croatian, he's a Croatian who works in a university in Belgium, and he came and spent 1 week in Visakhapatnam, and we would like to have more such experts coming in from IMO, from WMU, who will add to the cross-pollination of ideas and enrich our programs. The membership in the International Association of Ports and Harbors, IAPH, had a very active event last year in March, where there was a program developed or invented, as we can say, by the Port of Antwerp, by UNESCO, and by the IAPH. And it's an in-person simulation. It's not a simulated, it's a game, but it's an in-person simulation. And the exercise that was conducted involved, we got the students and the port officers to form teams, and they were given objectives saying, okay, how sustainable can your port be? We'll give you this much, these are the guidelines, this is the framework. I think Secretary General would know about it. But for the very first time, it was brought to India in the Chennai campus of the Indian Maritime University, and it was a roaring success. So we hope to engage with international associations and our collaborators in bringing such innovative exercises to make the entire shipping less dry and more appealing to the students. The last one is something that I would like to emphasize. There's a lot of emphasis in education. Education, they say, has not changed in the last 150 years. Classroom, teaching, exams, evaluation. But the new education policy, and internationally it's recognized that given the influence of technology and the reduction of attention span, the dryness of subjects, we have to look at better methods. And this program was triggered by a cadet of one of our colleges who said, you know, there is a chapter that we have to study on IMO conventions, and it is so dry that we don't get any of it. And when we ask the faculty says, just read it and go take the exam. You'll learn about it later. So this triggered a thought in my mind saying, how can we do it? And in line with the new education policy, we call it experiential learning. And I'm very, very happy to share that the Institute of Marine Engineers of India came forward to design the program, and the DMECA. These are the alumni of our erstwhile training institutions. They designed a program by which teams participate and compete. You take 1 or 2 conventions every year, and you give them the framework, and they prepare a research paper, and then they are selected, and then the next slide shows the process. So very briefly, why was it done? As I said, the objective was to see how well the students, even the faculty, because the faculty have not attended IMO meetings, so they know only, they're very bookish. So it was to make them understand through a certain competitive mode, what is the role of the IMO, how does it function, and what is the contribution or participation of different countries. So it's like a game through a simulative exercise, and we have many institutions who participate. In the first year, we tested it out only with the 6 campuses of IMU. In the second or third version, we expanded it to the affiliated universities, and we now hope to expand it to the region, if not to the entire globe, all the maritime institutions. We've invited all the institutions, maritime training institutions affiliated with the Directorate General of Shipping also. So last year, in 2024, we had 140 teams which participated. Each team is roughly 2 to 3 cadets or students, and we hope that this will increase. So the process, very briefly, is we call for papers, and the papers are presented to, and there are mentors, there are guides, and there are judges. So the mentors mentor the teams, they present the papers, and the guides guide them, and finally it's presented. The panel of experts select the papers, and there are prize winners. We've already given a prize of about $2,800 US, and there are, I'm thankful for the sector, maritime sector, corporate companies as well as institutions who've contributed their hand in doing this. We are at present in dialogue with the World Maritime University for a collaboration in both academics and research. There was a chair which used to exist at the WMU at the time of Mr. Srivastava, and we want to re-establish the chair and renew our commitment to the WMU. We also have a WMU support for Erasmus Plus program for opportunities in the field of higher education. And lastly, we are looking at WMU launch specialized certificate courses. Now, WMU has campuses in China and one other place, but evidently they do not want to, they are not in a position to expand the campuses. But we are looking at whether we can do, looking at specialized certificate courses which can be sponsored by the IMO and WMU. This is my last slide. I have to make a request. The support of the IMO in expanding the ISKMO is this program of IMO mock competition for understanding the roles and responsibilities and processes at the IMO. We also request the support of the IMO in establishing a center of World Maritime University in India. And if not a center, at least see how we can escalate the collaboration to have a strong presence of WMU here, to re-establish the chair at WMU. And the last one is the ministry is taking the lead in establishing a fellowship at IMLI, both with the DGS and the IMU combined. So this is something we would request for support to. And that brings me to the end of the presentation, brief presentation. Thank you very much for your patience and attention.
Thank you, Madam, for giving insights into the maritime training in India and how the Indian maritime training demography is evolving. So we've heard two of the stakeholders, the ship owner and the mentors. So we'd now like to invite the administrative body. We shall first play a video on the administrative body, the Directorate General of Shipping. Can we have the video, please? That was the Directorate General of Shipping. I now request the Director General of Shipping, Mr. Shyam Jagannathan, to please make a presentation on the key advances and opportunities.
Excellency, Secretary General IMO, Dr. Malini Shankar ma'am, respected Vice-Chancellor, IMU, Captain B.K. Tyagi sir, the CMD SCI, Shri Atulu Paleji, dignitaries, of the dais, and dear cadets. This is a longish presentation, and I would request you to just let me run through, because even the video did not have a voiceover. So please indulge. That's the table of contents. I will traverse this as quick as possible. And that is largely because we have a very inspirational global leader in our midst, Excellency the Secretary General, and I believe it is more than the due of the cadets to interact with Sir, because believe me, each minute spent with him reinvigorates oneself, and the standards he's setting for us, we're grateful for his presence. You just saw the short video, 75 years of maritime excellence, as essentially a regulatory and a statutory organization, the Directorate General of Shipping, under Section 7 of the existing Merchant Shipping Act. We're looking at the maritime sector as a very critical sector for the Indian economy, and the Indian economy is booming. We will be the third largest and subsequently the fastest growing economy. By 2047, we'll be $26 trillion, $15,000 per capita income, and yet remain the fastest growing, most stable, diverse, and yet a benchmarked democracy, basically endowed with everything that is needed for global leadership. We saw the transition from Director General of Shipping to Directorate General of Maritime Administration. That is what is envisaged in the new bill. You're not only going to look at only mercantile marine being shipping, but you're also going to look at the entire 360-degree ecosystem, which is basically ports, shipyards, ship recycling, offshore operations, inland operations, the entire gamut. The Maritime India Vision is a document I would advise all our mariners of the future who are here in the room. Please do read that, because you are our future leaders who will be translating this vision. Since His Excellency is here for the Green Shipping Conclave, which is parallelly proceeding at the Powai venue, I just wanted to flag what are our aspirations. In terms of LNG bunkering, we're looking at 8 ports, we're looking at hydrogen ammonia hubs, that entire infrastructure in more than 14 ports, and these includes not just the existing major ones, also the ones in the private sector. We're looking at shore-to-ship facility, and we're looking at carbon-neutral ports. And all this are defined and codified in an incremental process, which is a year-wise, incremental, progressive scale of engagement which Indian Maritime will undertake under the Maritime Amrit Kal Vision 2047. There are issues, no one is shying away from them. There are taxation issues, there are insurance, risking and hedging maritime risks which we face. There are issues with resource constraints in the sector, but it is also being worked with, and as was rightly mentioned, the present union budget did give certain indicators about how the sector would be given emphasis and priority during resource allocation by the Government of India. I'll reiterate, this hall is itself named after late Padma Vibhushan C.P. Srivastav sir. We are privileged to have C.P. Srivastav sir's daughter here. and we salute him for having institutionalized and pegged the benchmark in terms of international leadership so high that will always remain for ages an inspiration to come. We have gone through the IMSAS audit. No major adverse observations, but two very critical insights, sir. One was that our casualty vertical was not insulated from the routine day-to-day operations. We are working on that, sir, and I assure you that Indian Maritime will establish the casualty vertical. The second was essentially that our website, which is basically an interface with government to government, a government to public, was a little too convoluted and not very simple. I mean, as I said, Excellencies himself said IMO can be very dry, so can shipping and DG shipping too. But then we are engaging with social media, and I assure, sir, that probably by July we should have a completely new website which will be as informative as we can afford to make it. This is India and its strategic role at the IMO, where we are working as a responsible maritime administration under the lead of Excellency the Secretary General, and all the contending areas in most of the committees are being taken up. There are issues, but I firmly believe that the Indian Maritime Administration is looking at collaboration both on the technology front, on aspects which are breaking and being institutionalized, such as the economic measures, and taking forward the connect with sustainability and the net zero targets to be achieved. While we are a proud founding member of the IMO, we are also keenly engaging with several policy think tanks, so that we are assuring the best in terms of statutory inputs, regulatory inputs, and developmental inputs. The Sustainability Connect is being deeply engaged with in the Green Shipping Conclave, which I would also advise once we have the proceedings published, each of the cadets be given an exposure, because it does contain future fuels which you will be handling on board, risks associated with them, what are basically the cost benefits with specific fuels, the multiple options that are available there. And the Indian Ocean Center of Excellence for Sustainable Maritime Transportation, IOC SMART. Here, under the lead of the Chairman Managing Director SCI Lal, this very institute, which was founded in 1988, out of which we have got yeoman alumni like Captain Tyagi himself, now heading Shipping Corporation of India. We intend to build on this foundation to convert this into an Indian Ocean Region Center of Excellence. And this is what, ladies and gentlemen, is there on the slide. It will be the first of its kind in the entire Southeast Asia. At the Green Shipping Conclave, we are launching the detailed project report, and we will be engaging with this to translate it into reality as soon as possible. This is the National Green Shipping Policy, which is a framework aggregation of all the multiple sustainability initiatives, and this also is being launched at the Green Shipping Conclave today. This keenly underlines Indian Maritime's intent to ensure that we are striving for the aspirational goals which IMO has set. I did mention the future fuel strategy and the document, which is giving all the alternative fuels and how basically Indian Maritime would leverage these. Our classification society, IRS, has partnered the DG Shipping in this technical document, and we'll be building on that. Ship recycling, I had apprised His Excellency that we are globally number 2 and would soon, after the Hong Kong Convention, be global leaders in ship recycling. And that further gives you the full 360-degree circular economy of sustainability in terms of ship breaking. These are the present initiatives which the Indian government is pushing for in a very focused manner. Financial incentives which have been announced in the present budget, the Maritime Development Fund, the SBFA, focus on infrastructure development which has been going on right from Sagarmala, which was ports to prosperity and a port-led development initiative, and the technological advancement alongside sustainability. I mentioned about ship recycling. I am just showing certain statistics. This is basically our roadmap for the IMO collaboration. I will leave it at that. And now I'll come down to one of the statutory mandates of the Director General of Shipping, which is maritime training. DG Shipping approved total institutions are 176, 81 pre-sea institutes and 95 post-sea institutes, all across the length and breadth of the country. We have so many cadets who are aspiring to join India's maritime fold. The challenge is on the bottom right side. How do you assure quality maritime training, which then builds up the platform for their assessment of competencies as per the STCW? We're looking at infusing technology, a learning management system, a continuous ongoing faculty development program, and leveraging that to ensure quality maritime training inputs. Simulators, their use is also one specific aspect. Institutionally, we have brought forth the STCW Compliance Board. Now, instead of one individual incumbent in the post of the Director General of Shipping taking critical decisions, this is a collegium. All officers who are principal officers of the Marine Mercantile Department, who essentially head a mercantile district, join together in all statutory approvals and quality dispensations for training in all maritime training institutes collectively. So you have equanimity, you have transparency, you have accountability, and you have due process. This is what we are attempting to do in the examination system. The roadmap shows that we are doing a certificate of competencies first, a complete end-to-end automation, which we would also like to showcase to Excellency. Here, there is no human interference in the process where we are assessing and certifying the competencies of seafarers. And we're also doing a benchmarked Maritime Training Institute exit examination as well as the ratings exit examination. This is something which is very close to the heart of DG Shipping, because DG Shipping looks out for all seafarers, their welfare, their security, starting from day one of their career to their signing off and coming on shore. And even on shore. We're looking at Sagar Mein Yog. Excellency will be presented this concept. He has had a ringside view during the visit at the seafarer's home. It is about intervention at the pre-sea stage, at the at-sea stage, and at the post-sea stage for a seafarer, addressing preventive, proactive, and prescriptive policies, addressing all the 10 subcomponents of wellness which are necessary not just for a seafarer, but for any individual for that matter. Dr. Malini ma'am had already spoken about how the growth of women in maritime has happened. Excellency also has a policy that he will not participate in any forum unless there is a lady representative there. And we salute you for that, sir. India is doing its own bit. I just wanted to show you how the number of scholarships for women cadets has shot up, showing the intent of not just promoting women in maritime, but supporting them with resources to make sure they have a fulfilling career. Safety is something that comes foremost and is non-negotiable. That is what the IMO also stands for. And DG Shipping reflects that in complete form in ensuring that safety always remains first. Alongside the difficult geopolitical situations arising globally, ensuring safety. This is the Marine Mercantile Domain Awareness Center. We have officials from the Indian Navy. A salute to you, sir, because they have been doing what is much beyond the Indian Navy's mandate. When the Red Sea situation arrived, it was the Indian Navy which went out 24/7, more than 100 days, deploying vessels, frigates, resources, men, covering and providing protection to our seafarers, irrespective of the flag of the vessel. This is the long-range identity tracker, which basically uses the AIS and allows us to basically use the ship security alert system so as to react during crisis responses. As mentioned, casualty response, we're deepening this. Even the MV Dali was something where India participated as a substantially interested state, Excellency, because all the seafarers there on board were from India. So we're bringing in standardized operating procedures, and Mandeep sir is here. He would be helping us and notifying these from the ministry, proving the government's intent to basically engage with this. We're doing something very interesting with the geospatial solutions, where it is navigational safety at the port committees. Yesterday you had a very good insight into how geospatial solutions were used at the CPP at Navasheva. That's a simple continuum of that same. And these are our maritime security initiatives where, Excellency, the IMO also recognized for bravery personnel of the Indian Navy and crew members who were involved in Marvel in Rwanda. You would definitely realize this. And MV Ruin, again, was a world first, where the Indian Navy went outside its comfort zone and they boarded a ship which was controlled and taken over, hijacked by pirates, and took them in custody and restored the vessel to proper command. The ISPS is being worked out to ensure compliances for all EXIM cargo handling ports, just as under the SOLAS for the 50 years, the commitment and compliance, including for the international conventions like MARPOL, have been deeply and integrally followed by the Indian Maritime. I'll talk about the digitalization initiatives. The essence here is any business entity, any regulatory function with Indian Maritime need not have a human interface. We're reducing it completely to an end-to-end process-driven electronic interface. That is eSamudra, which should be launched by October of this year. Excellency, you had asked me specifically about maritime single window. 82 ports onboarded, the dashboard, and we are migrating, carrying it forward as to the National Logistics Portal, Marine, for India. And this would have all the mandated file forms and the integration as mentioned. A maritime knowledge cluster is being done, just as certain lead maritime European economies have done. We're also looking at an Indian P&I entity and looking at dedicated coastal, low premium covering of the operational risks. And of course, yes, DG Shipping is proud to be serving the nation for 75 years and continuing. We are also organizing a maritime national games, which will then be institutionalized into a biannual maritime national games, which I would request all of you to participate to promote camaraderie and sportsmanship in the maritime domain. These are basically changing times, and I've said that there will be only two constants, which again will continue to change. One is sustainability, till you're net zero, you keep striving, and the other is technology, transition and technology and disruption. So as we change, we look up to world leaders like His Excellency setting standards for us, and collaborating, building partnerships. And it has really been a privilege to host you here. And I will now request all the cadets, as being organized here, for a one-to-one interaction with His Excellency, because that would really set the tone for the day. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for showing us that India is navigating in the right direction in terms of maritime training, IT innovations, safety and security of seafarers, ports, sustainable green shipping. Thank you very much. This event has been made momentous with the esteemed presence of His Excellency Mr. Arsenio Domínguez, Secretary General IMO. Let me tell you a little about him. Mr. Domínguez assumed his role as 10th IMO Secretary General on the 1st of January 2024, bringing with him more than 3 decades of experience serving the global maritime sector across a spectrum of leadership roles of increasing scope and responsibility. His maritime career began in 1996 as a port engineer at Armadores del Caribe in Panama, and then a dry dock assistant manager at Braswell Shipyard. Initially representing his native Panama, first within the Panama Maritime Authority and in his latermost appointment as Ambassador of Panama to IMO, his affinity for building consensus saw him elected by his peers as chair of several flagship IMO intergovernmental meetings, including the Marine Environment Protection Committee, the Technical Committee of the 29th Assembly, and the Maritime Security, Piracy and Armed Robbery Group, as well as a number of vice chair and board member roles. A naval architect at heart and by training, Mr. Domínguez gained his first degree at Veracruzana University, Mexico. Recognizing from the outset of his career the importance of a multidisciplinary and multi-sectoral approach to the maritime sector, Mr. Domínguez later went on to pursue a Master of Business Administration at the University of Hull, as well as an executive qualification in international law and of a specialized UN agency whose mission is to support them. In 2017, Mr. Domínguez harnessed this extensive technical and diplomatic knowledge and experience as a delegate for the benefit of IMO. He joined the organization first as Chief of Staff, followed by Administrative Director, leading the organizations through the COVID-19 pandemic. Directly prior to his election in July 2023 as Secretary General, he was the Director of the Marine Environment Division. During this time, Mr. Domínguez has chaired IMO's Marine Environment Protection Committee and the Technical Committee of the 25th session of the IMO Assembly. May I now invite His Excellency to address the gathering. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency Mr. Arsenio Domínguez, Secretary General IMO.
Just getting comfortable here, sorry. Good afternoon. There you go. We just want to make sure that you're here with me. Let me do the protocols first. Thank you very much for organizing this. Thank you for the presentations. I have taken notes of the request. Where's Luca? We're taking notes of the request. Some of them, like the chair of WMU, I'm actually addressing it tomorrow in Delhi because the final decision, it's lying here. We're ready to take it. The partnerships with WMU, I'll speak to the president of the university. And then when it comes to the Maritime Technology Training Center, the MTCC, we're doing a review, so we'll come back on that. DG, you answer most of the questions that I asked you yesterday during your presentation, including the maritime single window. You didn't mention much about the position of India in relation to the current negotiations of the technical and economic measures, but I know that I have the support. He already informally told me that. So we're in the right place. The fact that the university here is focusing on research and is looking at very interesting topics like on-the-water radiated noise, which is one of the next big regulations coming from IMO. puts you right on track with what we are seeing as the next steps in relation to IMO regulations. Then it's an honor being in your presence because Secretary General Emeritus Srivastav, of course, it's always been connected with maritime education and the support that he gave to training institutions. It's thanks to him that we have the World Maritime University. One thing that I'm sure to say now is his record of the longest serving Secretary General is safe with me. I have no plans in breaking that record. With all due respect now, I'm going to ignore you. Because it's all about you. One of my favorite parts of my job is the interaction with cadets. Because during the introduction, it was said that you will learn from me. But this is a two-way conversation. And I'm here to learn from you as well, what your expectations are, your concerns, your ideas. At IMO, we spent a lot of time drafting regulations. You will see that. At some point, you will say, that's too much paperwork that is not allowing me to do my day-to-day job. We are aware of it. But we still also recognize that we need to keep this balanced and progressive approach for member states that probably need some more assistance than others in implementing the instruments. Sorry, pause. Before I continue, I forgot to say hello to all those online, and I hope that we're not distracting you too much, especially those on board the ship, because I cannot have on my shoulders the fact that you have an accident because you were distracted following this conversation. So just be careful what you're doing there. Back to you. The IMO is normally on the radar because of the greenhouse gas emissions and the environmental concerns. But that has created this interest in the work that we do. We are much more than that. Yes, the meetings can be a little bit dry sometimes. Yes, we audit and we told the DG that your website needs evolving. For me, it's also leading by example. If you ever visit the IMO documents website, it's terrible. You can't find things there. So just as we're telling India that you have to improve, I'm working in improving ours as well. And it's part of the recognition that everything that we do is not perfect. And we have to accept that, learn from its implementation, and improve our process. That's why it's so interactive. When it comes to decarbonization, we have a very ambitious agenda. And it is decarbonizing by around 2050 with checkpoints in 2030 and 2040. I hope you're familiar with them because I don't want to give you a lecture, so I'm not going into the numbers. It's not that I don't know them, just in case you're going to test me later. The only part when I'm actually comfortable is that the naval architects are not trained here. Because if you ask me to design a ship right now, I will fail miserably. I move away from it. Still love the career and remember several things, but can't perform at your level. We're looking also into the innovation that brings with this new transition and how it's going to help us to enhance the safety aspects. Then is the work of new topics. We have automation. And yes, we're developing the autonomous surface ship voluntary code first. I'm going to be very clear. It doesn't mean that we're getting rid of seafarers. This is not a full replacement. That's not the intention, even though sometimes someone will say that. There are some routes like short sea shipping, very short distances, where there is more opportunities for a automotive type of trade. But we still need the experience and the expertise, and it's working how we then translate those inland or ashore. Seagoing shipping, that's slightly different. We still will need the reliance on the people in case something goes wrong with technology, as we all know it can't happen. The maintenance that the ship is required the interaction with the people at the port, because that will still be the case. So this is an opportunity to provide that additional support for seafarers on board the ships when they're operating. As I said earlier, there's a lot of documentation and paperwork that you have to deal with. The technology should allow us to remove some of that burden from you so you can focus on the more important aspects of keeping the ship safe. And I'm sure that some of those on board right now will agree with me. Then is training. Again, I'm not going to go through all the IMO topics, but training. We're currently reviewing the SCCW convention, that's very close to you, and it's looking at how we can make it more flexible in relation to the experience and expertise that comes from the sector itself in the daily operations, how innovation can play a part, because a regulatory process, international law, is very structured, so it takes longer to make it a rule or a standard, and sometimes we should allow that these new safe practices can be put into place. We're seeing it with alternative fuels, where some countries, including India, is investing on these new technologies, new fuels, and together they're also working on the areas of training requirements. So all that comes to the organization, we bring it together, we advertise it, we promote it, and it can be utilized even before it goes into the formal regulatory process. Now, IMO also navigates its challenges. We saw during COVID how people were very much aware of the important role on shipping, even though it was detrimental to seafarers. And then as soon as COVID disappears and becomes just like another cold, people forget about shipping. Last year, I was very much using the slogan of no shipping, no shopping. I thought that it was going to stick for longer, but things disappeared, so we need to bring it back. There was even the expanded slogan of no seafarers, no shipping, no shopping. And that's true. And you should be one of those ambassadors and promoters of highlighting how important you are for everybody else. Because otherwise, you know, they don't get the mobile phones, the TVs, nobody uses radio anymore. But, you know, everything that the computers, the laptops, everything that they use, the toys, everything that they use in the daily lives, at some point, the raw materials or the manufactured products are transported by ships. Then is the geopolitics that we also have to navigate. These are the difficult topics at IMO. But I'm not going to sugarcoat things for you, because we need to enhance the protection of seafarers when it comes to security. Again, some of those topics are beyond the scope of IMO. Personally, once the organization or the rules or its people, seafarers, gets affected, I get involved. And I find a way to navigate the politics within my mandate, but highlighting what others can and should do as well in order to guarantee your safety and security. Abandonment cases should not be happening. We're working with international labor organizations to tighten those contracts, so there's more responsibilities from the size of the ship ownership operators as well, and the flag states and the coastal states. Then it's a criminalization. And we have developed guidelines. We don't regulate the judicial system, but I keep putting pressure on them to at least start with respecting the due processes, the legal processes, for all of you. One anecdote that somebody shared with me, which I think is very relevant, is if someone, a passenger, gets detained on board an airplane with illegal substances, the captain or the crew are not detained. It's only the passenger that is taken ashore. When it comes to a ship, if someone finds illegal substances, then the whole crew is detained. So this is where we need to start highlighting the injustices that exist in shipping and the ones that we need to tackle. When I went to the Indian seafarers' house yesterday, I really praise the mental health approach that it's been taken there. And there were two comments that were made to me. One, that seafarers suffer from the loneliness on board the vessels. And the other one is the lack of recognition. And this is on us and on you as well to continue to highlight this. Because the more that we remind people of this, the more that it starts to sink in, and then we will see the positive reactions. So I'm not abandoning you, but there is work for us to do. And I will continue to campaign for all of you. Then is diversity, and in particular women. Every time that I meet with female cadets, the concern is that they're going to be able to find positions on board cruise ships, but they're not on cargo ships. And this is so simple for the companies to actually prepare better for a diverse working environment. And it's just pushing them, because it takes a little bit of effort, and once you're used to doing it, it becomes normal. So I always ask that the female cadets and the female seafarers speak out about what they are facing, because otherwise, I'm telling you, it doesn't get through. You have to be very direct with this. The message needs to be plain and clear. Then I am also asking the investment. I'll see how the DG was talking about Indian investing in the ports, in its people, infrastructure, everything that shipping is all about now. I'm also doing the same thing with the ship owners, saying sacrifice a little bit of cargo space and provide better accommodation for the seafarers. We should be providing seafarers free internet on board. Use it wisely. But we should be providing all that. And thus becoming more attractive for everyone to be in this amazing industry. Now, what I can tell you as well is that there's a lot of responsibility on you, because it's a call for me that you always remain professional, humble, that let your work speak for yourself, support each other. There's always good competition. Don't do the bad competition. Learn from the mistakes. I'm telling you from experience, not all my managers have been the best ones. But what I have learned from all of them is what to do and what not to do. And every time that you face a challenge, you learn from it, so you're better prepared the next time. And when you see an opportunity, take it. Go for it. Because they don't appear all the time. Just be bold when it comes to that. I had no background for my family when I came into shipping. And similar to your wife's words, I was looking for something different, something that I could study abroad, because it will expand my development, both personally and professionally, and hopefully will open some opportunities in Panama. And it took me further away from that. I thought that I was going to start working for the Panama Canal. They didn't hire me. They're lost now. And they're fighting, keeping it. No, I still support Panama keeping the Panama Canal. Don't misunderstand this. But it was taking all the opportunities when they arose. When I went to London, I planned for going there for 2 years. Then probably I would not keep my job, change of governments, and I would go back home. So the first thing that I did was to study. So I would get an additional degree that I can use in Panama. But it's been nearly 27 years and I'm still in London. And I continue to study, continue to move up in the ranks, and every time that I had a chance, it wasn't only because of a monetary or financial reward, it was because I will get pleasure of doing what I love doing every day. I will get experience, I will meet people, it will open opportunities. I chaired several meetings at IMO, never got paid for it, never asked for it, but it was all the experience that I got from it. So I'm going to stop now, because I wasn't going to bore you. And what I want is to see if there is anything specific that you want me to address. Any questions that you have. I may not have the answer, but I'll give it a go. And any comment, anything that you want to share, please be my guest. But let me stop now, otherwise I'll bore you. So who wants to go first? Yes, that will be fine. But then, am I moving or am I staying here? Oh, you're staying here.
Your choice, sir.
Well, no, it's just, I know that I need to use a mic. Oh, I need to use a mic because of the people online, right?
Yes, and we will be sharing mics with the audience for the question, right? So we give you that.
You're not allowed to ask the questions now. Maybe at the end, you have one. No, oh, there's no such thing as a planned question. You can ask anything you want. Seriously.
So thank you for that lively, insightful, and motivational address, sir. In fact, every time we have the World Maritime Day, we usually get to hear the message of the Secretary General, either the video or it's read out to us. So it was indeed a privilege to hear you live today, sir. And it's a momentous occasion and a wonderful opportunity for you cadets to actually interact with the IMO Secretary General. So any questions?
Who wants to be first?
All right.
Don't be shy. Come on.
Okay.
Hey.
Cadets, please hand the mics.
Good morning, sir. I'm Cadet Abhijit Moite.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Well, launch time now. Come on.
Yeah. So I'm a training engineer officer at Shipping Corporation of India, Maritime Training Institute. And I would like to know what are your primary goals as being in IMO for coming years?
Okay. The first one is always going to be the support that I give to the member states in the regulatory process. My goal is always keeping the parties together. They share the objectives, but 176 member states, 176 different opinions sometimes, and it's how we bring it together. The second one is improving the support that we provide to member states, particularly developing countries. And I'm improving technical cooperation and capacity building. I'm more into the measuring the success of the activities, better planning, better targeting, not the usual way that we were doing it before. I want something more interactive, that if, for example, the DG needs support on casualty investigations, we bring experts to interact with the officers here, so they learn that firsthand, rather than giving them presentations of the instruments. The third one is the image of IMO in shipping. So I'm more outspoken. It's going out to the global media, not just the shipping media, to highlight the importance of shipping, seafarers, what we do, learn from them. I don't take criticism harshly, and it doesn't stick with me. For these kind of positions, you need to have a thick skin. So it doesn't bother me. I use it to learn from it. Are we communicating our message correctly? Are we doing enough? Do we need to do more? And how are we going to do that? And the fourth one is the people, investing in them. I start internally, and it's creating opportunities for the staff, better facilities within the building, maintaining a collaborative approach, that everyone feels comfortable speaking to me and asking me any questions. I do briefings with the staff at least 4 times a year, and it's like this, open conversations. Then it's the highlighting the seafarers, how important and valuable they are. Diversity and inclusion is a pivotal topic for me. The whole thing about shipping being a male-dominated sector, that's a thing of the past. We need to change our mindset. And then it's just offering the opportunities. And of course, transparency. I think we're still not very open in shipping. It's the way that we have operated for many years, and I'm all about change. So those are my main priorities. Thank you.
Okay, next question. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought
Yeah, please.
the one that,
the lady
she
here.
stood up first.
Hello.
She stood up. Oh, okay, you're up again. Come on. So you're next. You're next.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Cadet Deepa Kanodia from BTech Marine Engineering, Indian Maritime University, Mumbai Port Campus. My question to you is, how can you advise us, the female cadets, who want to specialize in green shipping, but are facing industrial challenges?
The
would be
industrial challenge, like what? The industrial challenge?
they want to specialize in green shipping,
Uh-huh.
but some of the industrial challenges we face as women seafarer, what would you like to advise us?
It's a cultural change, and we need to start creating a more open environment for women seafarers on board the ships. One of the main areas is for everyone to understand that we need to cater for all the needs that women have and men don't have. The necessity to also provide that additional support that sometimes companies feel more unprepared to do so. And for me, it's simple. It's everything that we do ashore, we can replicate it on board. Also, the support that can be provided, in the conversations, in the exchanges. But from your side, what I will say is speaking up of what are the challenges that you face, and if you can come up with solutions, you start being proactive. I was having a meeting with some of the female cadets, and some of the basic things that they said is when we go on board, we have, there are certain needs of certain things that we expect to have on board that you can buy on any single corner shop, and suddenly the companies just don't think that way. So it's creating that mindset where there's nothing wrong with having a woman on board. In fact, it's been demonstrated that companies that are more diverse and that have women at the leader board, you will support me in this, are actually better prepared for change, are more proactive, and the profits are even higher. So the green transition, don't see it as an obstacle. On the contrary, it's going to create additional jobs. It's going to allow us to change, so use it for that change. Don't start the questions with the challenges. Next time, look into what are the opportunities that it's bringing for you. The more that we put a positive spin, the more that people realize that we are actually ready for this, and we've been ready for many years, and support each other.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the lady in the 6th row
And for the men sitting here as well, is how you also support women. This is not just women supporting women, okay?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Nisarga, currently pursuing graduate marine engineering from Maritime Training Institute, SCI. Going forward, if you would like to join IMO, what opportunities does IMO offer for the young maritime professionals like us?
To work at IMO?
Yes.
As the secretariat?
Yeah. No.
Okay. She's after my job already. Nice one. So, IMO is a small organization. It's around 300, 325 staff members on average. So, and there's a lot of interest to join IMO. It's a great place to work. I hope my colleague here agrees with me. So what I'm introducing is open recruitment. Every single opportunity is there to apply for the jobs. Depending on which is your background and the experience that you have, that's the kind of job that I will recommend you to keep an eye on and apply for the position. Of course, we give priorities for female candidates, as well as those from developing countries and from countries that are not representing in the secretariat. Because I get the push from all the member states that they want nationals represented in the secretariat. But I don't compromise the performance, okay? That is the core. You need to have the competence to be part of the secretariat. But it's an open competition. Some of the things that I've noticed is that people tend to go for the high positions, they don't meet the standards, and then they get disappointed. Sometimes it's better to come in. It takes time to grow at IMO because it's a horizontal organization. We don't have many movements. My colleagues may listen to this, may hear this, but I've told them before. Once you are inside, you complain, but nobody leaves. So we must be doing something right? But that's the key. It's focus on where are the areas of expertise and when you can then excel in applying for a job. And that applies for anywhere, not just IMO. It's always how you sell yourself. And one of the positives that I'm going to give you is having the desire to ask the questions and immediately just entertain these discussions demonstrates that you have what it takes to actually go after a goal. So that's good.
Okay, let's do a balancing act. Can we have somebody from this side of the audience?
Oh, the other side. I'm moving to the other side. Sorry. If I stay there, then it's only one side. I'm not falling down here. Don't worry.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Cadet Subhi Maurya from Indian Maritime University, Navi Mumbai campus. Now that you know there are students behind your job, so a piece of advice that you would like to give us that you thought you should have received before joining this career in IMO?
Before I joined IMO?
Yes, sir.
Huh. That's quite a difficult question now. I'll tell you why it's a difficult question. I like change. I get bored very easily. But I've been kind of working for IMO on one way or another for around 27 years now. I spent nearly 20 years representing Panama to IMO. I'm going to share a lot with you here. And I actually applied for 3 positions at IMO before I joined. I didn't get it the first 3 times. But I don't get demotivated. And one of my mottos, apart from leading by example, is that I cannot be sad about something that I never had. So if I didn't get the position, well, I didn't know what I was losing because I never performed the task. So there will be other opportunities. What I can tell you is that everything that and I also don't obsess with things. So it was never, I want to be this, I want to be that. It was always, it would be very good if I can actually achieve that. If the opportunity is there, it goes. So the first time was with the chairmanship of the Marine Environment Protection Committee when I was approached. And somebody said to me, we think that you will be good chairing this meeting. And I thought, why not? Then, when the opportunity came to become Chief of Staff at IMO, I thought, wow, I'm going to be supporting the Secretary General directly. When I was asked to take the Administrative Directorate position during COVID, my first reaction was, no, I don't want this. But immediately I thought, what a great opportunity to help and navigate a challenge that we don't know what's going to happen and to learn from it. So it's always been taking the chances, learning from it, and what I can do next. And when the opportunity came to be nominated by the government to be a candidate for Secretary General, it was, okay, now I'm going to use all the experience that I have, all my trajectory, and demonstrate what I will do for IMO. Of IMO and why and the changes that I would like to introduce for the organization to be better. And it's not a negative criticism. It's building for everything that has been done, but not stagnate. So it's always been my intention, my idea, to just look for additional things. And I think that that's what actually prepared me. But it was never sort of a, I want to do this, I want to do that. It was always, it would be nice if I get there. And I'll see how far I can go. And I just kept going. I'm not sure that answered the question, but that's a difficult one for me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody from that side? All right, there are 2 hands raised there. Okay, go ahead. Please.
Pass the mic, pass the mic. There's no problem in touching the mic. You don't have to speak, you're not forced.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Akash Pathak, and I am a trainee navigating officer at Shipping Corporation of India Maritime Training Institute. And so my doubt is, does IMO ensure that training implemented across countries following certain guidelines?
Yes. One of the main tools that we have is the audit. So we verify member states' compliance with IMO regulations, and that includes training institutions. And even within the STCW convention, there's the rule that one member state can carry out an audit or the verification on another member state to make sure that the standards are equivalent, at least, if not superior, to IMO. So that's the process that we have, as well as a technical cooperation program in order for us not just to provide the assistance, but learn from it and see how we can share the good practices from some countries to others that need the support more.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, we have a lady out here. Can you pass the mic this side?
Oh, you're next. Sorry, just hold one back.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Cadet Allied Gayatri Ankush from Mumbai Port campus. Sir, as per your perspective, as a woman cadet is recruiting and how it helping us to growing the shipping industry?
Sorry, say that again?
How is it is helping for the shipping industry to growing as you are recruiting the woman as a seafarer?
How recruiting women seafarers helps the shipping industry?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a shortage of qualified seafarers out there. Half of the global population are women. I think it's a no-brainer. Seriously, for me it's logic. It doesn't even need a study. We need qualified seafarers, we need professionals. We know that women are better at sorting problems than men. Sorry, that's I'm not being rude, and it's true. And the leadership that women show and demonstrate. I mean, how many men in comparison with women are asking questions this afternoon? So all the demonstrations, all the proofs are out there. It's the mindset. And I know that there are cultural challenges, that there are historical barriers that have been created. But for me, it's doing the best I can, every opportunity to highlight that this doesn't have to be a male-dominated industry. And that if we're actually looking for qualified professionals, we have 50% ready to be part of the sector. So help me out by becoming a good professional and demonstrating out there that this is history. It's not even the future. It's history, the whole mentality. All right?
Thank you, sir.
The lady near the camera.
We need the microphone down here in front. 1, 2, 3, fourth row from the front.
So she will be asking.
Oh, you're going to ask a question. I was taking the mic away from you, sorry.
That's okay. Good afternoon, sir. My name is Shaurya. I am currently pursuing graduate marine engineering at Shipping Corporation of India. Sir, first of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity. It's truly a privilege. Sir, I would like to know, since the theme for World Maritime Day 2025 is Our Ocean, Our Obligation, Our Opportunity, how can we contribute towards this goal as cadets?
As cadets, there's still a perception, and actually a practice as well, that even though we have regulations on board the ships to avoid pollution in general, still happens. So you're going to be the next leaders that are going to make sure that you work on those ships that fulfill the IMO requirements. And when somebody wants to circumvent, you need to speak up. It's the same thing as when I spoke to a few kids from a school at the end of last year, and they said, how can we help to avoid plastic pollution? I said, whenever you see someone throwing a plastic bottle on the street, you can say something or tell your parents, and if nobody does anything, you can go and pick it up and then just take it to the rubbish bin. So it's what we do as well to recognize that we're part of the solution, just because we're also part of the problem. Learn the rules, but engage everyone on board the ship. Put forward ideas for a company that you're working on, how you think that we can reduce the use of plastic bags, plastic bottles, oil spills, all those sort of things. And if you see that equipments are not working, also call it out. Don't be afraid of doing it. Doesn't mean that you're going to, it's always how you do it. Don't blackmail the company. You get fired. But if you put it in a very proactive approach, ideas that you want to do, that also helps for your career in the future. We use the ocean. We have to protect it. Without the ocean, there's no shipping, there's no seafarer, there's nothing.
Thank you. The ladies are stealing the show, so do we have any boy cadet who would like to ask a question?
Oh, hello, sir. Thank you for gracing this occasion, and we are really honored to be here in your presence, and I could get this chance to speak with you. My question is, So I've recently joined Director General of Shipping as a legal consultant. And my question is, as you said, that we are being ambitious to achieve a net zero and decarbonization by 2030. I wanted to ask you, what are the ground level active efforts we are making at IMO to achieve this target? Because it's, of course, it's over ambitious, and most of the part is only dealt in MEPC but not in legal committee. Don't you think that aspect should also be dealt in a legal committee? So,
But, sorry, remind me, what aspects needs to be addressed in the legal committee?
the decarbonization by 2030, the aims. Yeah.
Okay, just a correction. Decarbonization is around 2050.
Okay.
2030, we are reducing emissions by 20 to 30%, 20 aiming for 30%, and upscaling the uptake of alternative fuels by 5%, aiming to 10%. You see, I know the numbers. I know what I'm talking about. Around 2050 is decarbonization. So we're working several streams in parallel. We started first with the strategy, set up the goals, and now the technical measures and economic measures that are going to help the transition. This is a transition. This is not going to happen overnight. It has a cost, because saving the environment has a cost. It's not free. But we're looking into reducing any negative impact and how we can also assist with the reduction of that negative impact. Then is the safety aspects. And I spoke earlier about the training requirements that we're dealing with. On the legal aspects, we will be addressing the liability conventions in relation to the new alternative fuels. Okay? Now, beyond that, there's nothing really that we need to address, at least from my perspective, in relation to the legal aspects, because we're talking on technical measures for the organization. That's the beauty of IMO. We always stick to our mandate when it comes to the technicalities. We regulate the ship and not the country. So it's the ship that is contributing to emit, it's a ship that is going to contribute in order to decarbonize technically and financially. Globally, you will have different, what are the name of they're not statements, they're actually principles, sorry. In shipping for us is the normal favorable treatment, but we acknowledge the differentiated responsibilities. Doesn't necessarily apply to ships because you can change the flag overnight. So it's not applicable, and it's the ship, not the country. But we do address that when we provide technical cooperation. Now, the legal aspects is just making sure that when we draft the regulations, they have the legal expertise. But we do that directly in the technical committees as well. We don't use the legal committee just to get opinions. We ask them just when they need to make a decision in any disputes or interpretation of a law. But they are engaged. They just have their own work in relation to the liability aspects, and that's coming very soon.
Sir, thank you so much. I've been told that we are running out of time.
No.
Continue with the session?
No. Yeah. Are we running out of time already? Did I scare all the male cadets here to ask questions? Because suddenly I don't know if I put you off.
Okay, so male cadets. So we go with the last two questions?
Look, there's 1, 2, 3. Let's go for those three
okay.
questions and then we stop. Is that okay?
Right, sir.
Right. There was all those 3 questions. Yeah, there's a brave soul there.
A very warm good afternoon, sir. Myself, Uday Sharma, a training navigating officer at Shipping Corporation of India Maritime Training Institute. Sir, I want to ask, what innovations or new technologies do you think will shape the maritime industry in the next decade?
Ooh, there's a long list. I'm not sure how far I can go. Alternative fuels, that's part of the innovation. Sometimes we only look at the technologies. Within the green area, we have carbon capture and sequestration, wind propulsion, batteries, electric power, etc. That's also been translated into the ports, and I experienced that yesterday in how the Jawaharlal? JNPA. It's working on. If I take another topic, underwater radiated noise, then of course there's additional innovation on the engines to be quieter, the designs of the ship to avoid cavitation, everything that creates additional external noise. Safety, of course, is autonomous ships. And we see in the areas of navigations, the new equipment, AIS is evolving, and we have new systems, the SN100 for nautical charts. So all this is coming. What we need to make sure, as well as artificial intelligence for the parts of the operations, because it's not just the hardware, it's the software. It's how operationally we can be innovative as well. What we need to make sure at IMO is that we tackle, address, and regulate the required regulation. So it needs to be user-focused. It's what you need, not what we think that you would like to have or what is nice to have. But there's an array of technologies that are going in part with our regulatory process, because our rules are there to foster innovation and not to limit it.
Okay, so last
two more questions.
minutes.
Yes, one.
No. All right.
Two more. Well, three more. Three more, and that's it. No more hands. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Mustafa Ali Jafri, and I'm a trainee navigating officer cadet at Shipping Corporation of India Maritime Training Institute. Sir, I would like to ask that if in future we again hit a pandemic, so does IMO has any SOPs for the seafarers' rights? I just do not want it intentionally, but if it happens.
Seafarers' rights. Sorry, I missed part of the question.
Sir, if in future any pandemic hits.
Oh. It happens every 100 years, apparently, so at least I think we're safe for the next time. Yes, we learned from the pandemics. That's why we're working better with other UN agencies, in particular the World Health Organization. We continue to work on highlighting the role of seafarers as key workers. There are limitations right now that are nothing related to the pandemic, like immigration, obtaining visas, short leave, the rights for the seafarers, etc. So these are the areas that are not necessarily only within IMO, but that we are promoting, campaigning, working with the International Transport Workers Federation, the UN Organizations for Migration, the International Labour Organization, the World Customs Organizations. Again, it's highlighting the challenges that are there and how we can continue to improve. But we learned the lessons. We actually have a list of actions, and that's what we're working on.
Thank you, sir.
Here, you're the last one.
Yeah, right. Last question.
No, two last questions. She's the last one. Yeah, no, that's it. And then we're off. That's fine.
All right, sir.
I'm not hungry.
No, we'd love to go on, sir. It'd be wonderful. Can you give him another mic?
Hello.
Yeah.
A very good afternoon, sir.
Is that a planted question?
So?
I'm joking. Go on.
No, I wrote it down.
You wrote it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long question, looks like.
I guess. So, we often come across mishaps happening at sea in the news. I have 3 questions regarding the same.
3 questions?
I warned you, sir.
You know him, right? Come on.
First, according to you, what are the biggest challenges to maritime safety today? Second, what can cadets do to overcome the same? And last, do you think that these mishaps can be avoided with proper training?
The first one is geopolitics. Okay? You got your questions. You need to read. I'm not going to read them back. So the first one is geopolitics. That's really affecting the safety and the security of the people on board the ships. The second question was what? Sorry?
What can cadets do to overcome the same?
Be professionals. Be the best you can be in order to demonstrate that you have to be respected, supported, and recognized for what you do. And the third question was?
Do you think that these mishappenings
training. We need to continue to enhance the training because this is the foundation. And this is why, if you have the vision, like the university here, it continues to evolve and engage and find those partnerships, that's what we need. The education cannot stagnate. It needs to evolve. It needs to be better, learn from experience and from practices. Did I get them all? I did. Last question.
Good afternoon, sir. Myself, Cadet Kumari Priyanshi, and I'm from Anglo-Eastern Maritime Academy, Karjat. My question to you is that traditionally the maritime industry has been male dominant, because of which still a lot of female seafarers face challenges like lack of equal opportunities, discrimination, and safety concerns on board. So what are the initiatives that IMO is taking or would be taking in upcoming years to tackle all these problems and encourage more women to join and thrive the maritime sector?
I'll give you examples because we addressed the topic. We're carrying out our second WISTA survey. We did the first one 3 years ago. We're carrying the second one. WISTA is the International Organizations for Women in Maritime. And we are going to use that to see what has been the progress and whether we still have challenges. Then we have the program for women in maritime at IMO, and we're enhancing the participation of women in all these training institutions. At IMO from this year, all the projects and technical cooperation activities, I have asked for a women's key performance indication marker in order for us to start studying and analyzing the progress that we made. And then is the personal actions that we're taking, like the one that I took of not participating in panels if there's no women representation. My staff has to follow exactly the same rule in all our events. And then, of course, from your side is how you continue to raise your voice and be a good professional. All right?
Thank you, sir.
That's it?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the questions. I hope I can see you again. And remember, I'm here to help. I'm not going to abandon you, but I need your support. Be good, be professional, take your opportunities, face the challenges, learn from it, and good luck. All right? Thank you.
I wish I had a principal of this kind when I was young. It would be wonderful. So your sense of humor and the way you've taken the questions is amazing. Thank you for gracing this occasion and sparing time from your busy schedule. We request Captain Tyagi to please present him a token of our love and respect. All good things come to an end, but we would be failing in our duties if we did not express our gratitude to those who put in a lot of effort to make this function a grand success. I request Mr. Deepinder Singh Bisen, Deputy Director General, DG Shipping, to render the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As we draw the curtains of the momentous occasion, it is my profound privilege to extend heartfelt gratitude to all who have played an indispensable role in making this event a resounding success. At the very outset, our deepest and most reverential appreciation is reserved for His Excellency Mr. Arsenio Domínguez, Secretary General of International Maritime Organization. Since assuming office Jan 2024, His Excellency has exemplified visionary leadership, guiding the global maritime community towards a future that is not only sustainable but also resilient and inclusive. His steadfast commitment to seafarer welfare and environment stewardship and technology innovation has set a formidable benchmark in international maritime governance. The ambitious decarbonization targets established under his leadership, along with his relentless advocacy for alternate fuel, optimized shipping routes, and enhanced operational efficiency, underscores the unwavering dedication to a greener and more sustainable maritime industry. Furthermore, the theme of World Maritime Day 2025, our ocean, our obligation, our opportunity, encapsulate the profound vision for a responsible, thriving and future-ready maritime ecosystem. So your esteemed presence today has not only elevated the stature of this event, but also has inspired all of us to strive towards a more sustainable and progressive maritime domain. We are deeply honored and profoundly grateful. Muchas gracias por su inspirador Carla. Special note of gratitude is owed to Shri Shyam Jagannathan, IAS Director General of Shipping. Sir, your resolute commitment to enforcing India's maritime regulatory landscape has been exemplary. Your leadership in digital transformation, grievance redressal mechanism, crisis management and policy reform, including the pioneering green shipping policy, has sustainably enhanced operational efficiency, regulatory oversight, safety with the sector. Your tireless endeavor serve as an enduring beacon of progress and innovation for the maritime fraternity. We also extend our profound gratitude to Vice-Chancellor of the IMO, Madam Malini Madam, her steadfast commitment to advancing education and research. Under her dynamic leadership, IMO continues to nurture and empower the next generation of maritime professionals, ensuring that they are equipped to meet the ever-evolving challenges of the industry. Our deepest appreciation also extends to Captain B.K. Tyagi, sir, Chairman, Managing Director of SCI. His exceptional leadership in navigating SCI through the evolving maritime landscape has been nothing short of extraordinary. His unwavering focus on operational excellence, strategic expansion, and sustainability-driven initiative has been instrumental in fortifying India's position on the global maritime stage. A special word of appreciation for all the dignitaries. Director Randhawa sir from the Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways, Director Ubale sir, not only for gracing this event with your esteemed presence, but also for your insight and unwavering support in steering maritime policy governance. Furthermore, we express our sincere gratitude to Madam Srivastav, all the officers from DG Shipping SCI, Principal Captain P.K. Sahu, the distinguished faculties, dedicated staff and diligent cadets of MTI, SCI and cadets from IMU, Samudra, etc. for their impeccable planning, seamless execution of this event. Your effort has ensured that today's proceeding unfolded the utmost grace and professionalism. Our gratitude also extends to the media fraternity for their diligent coverage and for amplifying the reach of this event through live streaming, ensuring that the significance of our discussion resonates far and wide. People have also joined online virtually. As we conclude, let us collectively carry forward the momentum ignited here today, fostering an unwavering commitment to excellence, sustainability, progressive evolution of the maritime industry. Thank you all most profoundly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being such a wonderful audience. We've arranged for lunch. The cadets who have joined us, please pick up your lunch packets from outside. Guests, you are requested to move out of the auditorium, and our volunteers will guide you as to where you need to go for the lunch. I request the guests on dais to please remain seated. And the audience is requested to please leave the auditorium and be guided by the volunteers outside. That's why we are not the girl cadets, will you all please come up on stage? We need a handful of them.